Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica. In today's video, I am going to be going over some fall vibe books that I love and I think you should read. So I wanted to talk about some books that I really do love and I think that you should read if you haven't read them yet, or if you want to reread them, because sometimes I go back and reread books that I absolutely love, and especially when I know a sequel's coming up so I can prepare for it. But here are some books that have the fall vibes that I really liked, and I really think that they are definitely something that you should be picking up. And the first one I want to talk about is The Witch Queen of Halloween by Kresley Cole. This one is about Rourke. He is our hero. He's a demon, and he is women summon him for carnal things. Anyhow, Poppy is our heroine, and she is trapped in a haunted house. She is our witch, and Rourke is her fated mate, and they are battling ghouls and mummies, and I think Jason at one point and Chucky at one point, and I don't know if Pennywise was in here, but they have to fight to get around all these horror figures, and there's a reason why these horror figures come in, but Rourke actually has to convince her that they do mean more to each other than just a fling because of something that happened in the past. And I absolutely love this. I love this whole series. Like the Immortals After Dark series is just phenomenal. I haven't read one bad book in that series, but if I was going to suggest one that you can read on your own without having to know about the lore, it would be The Witch Queen of Halloween. But the next one I want to recommend to you is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangyu Mandana. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Hopefully I got it right. This one is about our heroine. Her name is Sarah? Yeah, Sarah Swan. And it was a very powerful witch until she brought her beloved aunt back to life, which drained her powers. She broke magical law, and she was shunned as a witch. Years later, she's still at this inn that has magical powers. She has enough magic to keep this inn going. But anyway, this inn, people who need it find it. Luke and his little sister, they needed this inn to get away. He works at the library for the witches, and he's a warlock. His sister's a witch. His sister's young and is autistic, and I absolutely love the autism representation in this book. I think that the romance is very cute, is very cozy. We have a fox. The fox is a witch who was cursed to be, or hexed to be, a fox, and they're fighting against this guy who's just he's an ass, right? He's pretentious and he's an ass, and he thinks he should be the biggest warlock of them all. And Sarah, she's had to make some decisions specifically at the end that were a little sacrificing, but I loved Luke and I loved Sarah and I loved the whole cast of characters in this book. I love the magic system. I loved the cozy vibes, and I would love to go visit and like this. That would be so much fun. But if you haven't picked this one up yet, I highly recommend you do. Another one that I would recommend for this time of year, and especially because the next book is coming out next month, is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This one is, I want to say, Omegaverse. She's a vampire, he's a werewolf, and they're enemies to lovers, and it is arranged marriage. They need to have this marriage for diplomacy reasons. I absolutely love her character. She's very cut and dry, and she's very literal, and I love her interactions with I believe it's his little sister. It's been a while since I've read this, but no, I loved their romance. I loved our hero. He was gruff and he was rough, and I really liked her. She was just such an Allie type of a character, and I thought for a paranormal romance, she did a really, really good job on this, and I'm really excited for the next book, Mate, to come out. Maybe pick this one up to prepare for Mate. So, and then of course I have to talk about The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This one I love. This one is about Florence, and she sees ghosts. Her father was an undertaker. She goes home after her father passes away, and she goes back to her home, which also was a funeral home, because they lived, kind of think about like My Girl. that type of house. Anyhow, she has run in with her editor before she goes, because she's a ghostwriter. All of a sudden, her editor shows up at her door, but he shouldn't be there in the form he's in, and he's a ghost. There's a reason for it, and I like how she explored this and how it ended, because I was like, how are we going to end this whole thing with that she's a ghost, or he's a ghost and she's not, but she can see ghosts. I really like it. I think it is a lot of fun. It has the fall vibes I'm looking for. It's fantastic. My whole thing is with this, I just think it's just so cozy. Like, it's very cozy. So I would recommend this as well. Another one I would recommend because it's so cozy is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I just recently read this. I'm recommending this one before you even see the vlog, because it's in a vlog. So I'm not going to tell you my rating, but I'm going to say this one is a must read. You need to pick this one up. I absolutely loved the romance. Michelle was very closed off. She's very much Black Cat, and he's very much a golden retriever, grumpy sunshine. And I loved him completely. Cliff is a single dad to 2 girls, and he's divorced. She just recently got divorced. And so they're a bit older, they're in their 30s, and this takes place in 1997. And I was laughing at some of the stuff for the nostalgia. Like, oh my gosh, I called up my older sister and I was like, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That poster for Jonathan Taylor Thomas. It was like a 90s vibe, and it was very nostalgic for 90s kids, I think. My sister, we were just kind of laughing about it. We're talking about it. And honestly, the playlist is fantastic. Her playlist, she killed it with the playlist. I also liked Michelle when she connected with Emily. Emily is Cliff's daughter, and I just love their interactions with each other. I just think that this book was just well done, and it had all the cozy vibes. I liked the romance a lot, and I would recommend that you pick it up if you haven't done so already. Another book, and I'm gonna just say the whole entire series, but I'm only gonna pick up the one book because I don't want to pick up a whole stack. But it's the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. This is Wolf Gone Wild. My personal favorite is Always Practice Safe Hex. That is Gareth and Livy, and I love them. But I really like this one too. This one is about Evie Savoy, and she is a witch. She's a hexbreaker, and she's helping Mateo because his wolf someone hexed him, so he can't shift into his wolf form. And so now his wolf is in his head, and his wolf is an HR nightmare. It's honestly really funny, because I think that's what the most complaints I hear is about how Alpha is so just wrong. But that's the point. Alpha is a feral wolf, and he sees his mate, who is Evie, because this is fated mates. And how is he gonna act? Like, it's a feral wolf, and it's in his head. And even Mateo's recognized, like, yeah, I shouldn't be thinking this. He should not be telling me this stuff, right? But that's the thing. So you have 3 distinct voices in this book. You have Evie, and there's a lot of pop culture references, but because Evie loves Star Wars and she's very much in that type of fandom. But then you have Mateo, who's this really interesting artist, and then you have Alpha. And honestly, Alpha, yeah, walking red flag, totally not the best character, but he made me laugh because I understood that he's a feral wolf stuck inside of a human body, and he sees his mate. How do you think he's gonna react? It's kind of funny. But another one that I think is also definitely worth your time is Don't Text and Drive. This one is Devraj Kumar and Isadora Savoy. He hits her when she is riding her bike home, and she helps him solve a mystery, him and Ruben, because there's girls going missing, and there's a whole vampire ring. He is a vampire. He also is a tracker. He tracks people. Specifically, let's see, what is he called? He's called a Stygorn. He's a Stygorn. And Stygorns, what they do, they have these magical abilities to track and to hunt their quarry. And so he's going after this vampire ring. And Isadora helps him, and he is just gone for Isadora. I mean, Raj Kumar, he's a Bollywood star. He drives a Maserati. He's very playful with Isadora, because Isadora is very much a grump, and she loves her own little world. She's very meticulous and just loves her things, and I absolutely love this one. But of course, my personal favorite is, and probably will always be, Always Practice Safe Hex. This one is, I want to say, book 4. Yeah, it's book 4. So this one is Livy Savoy. She is a witch. Her gift is persuasion, and I absolutely love her. She's very open and free with her thinking and her sexuality. And then you have Gareth. Gareth is a Grim Reaper, and he's dark, and he has some pretty dark powers. And in this book, the world that Juliet Cross created really opens up, because you learn a lot more about the Grim Reapers and what they do, and how powerful Gareth really is. And so Gareth and Livy, they have to work together to for this marketing contest to be able to get funds. He wants to open up a orphanage, or I think foster care system, for the supernaturals, because of something happened to him in his past when he was in the care of the foster care system. Then Livy catches the eye of a really, really bad guy, but those two together, my gosh. This one is probably one of the spiciest books in the series. I'm not saying something, because these are pretty spicy books. However, this one, I just absolutely loved the characters. I love the character development. I love the romance. I loved the conflict. Everything about this book, I just absolutely loved. So if you haven't picked up the series yet, you really do need to pick these up. These are just good. I know people say get past Wolf Gone Wild. Yes. But I still appreciate Wolf Gone Wild for what it does. But the next one I want to talk about is Inheritance by Nora Roberts. This one is very atmospheric. It's about Sonia McTavish. She just basically left her I think it was her fiance, because he was having an affair with her cousin. She inherits this house in Maine, and she has to stay there for 3 months. And then she becomes very wealthy. So she decides to go to Maine, especially after the thing with her fiance, and come to find out this house is haunted, and there's a lot of ghosts, and the ghosts have different personalities. My personal favorite is Clover. I think she is fantastic. She has a great sense of music. Love her to pieces. And then the romance is between Sonia and Ty. Ty is the son of the lawyer who came and who tracked her down to tell her that she had this inheritance coming to her. But there's a curse on this house in the family, because these women who married into the family, they were killed on their wedding day or shortly thereafter, and their wedding rings went missing. And so we have the first one, which is The Inheritance, and then we have Mirror that came out last year, and then the last book, which is the Seven Rings. It's coming out in November. I think November 16th or 18th or something like that. Listen, I already have my pre-orders in. My audiobook pre-order, and then the hardcover from Nora's Bookstore. So I'm super excited about that. And if you haven't listened or read The Inheritance and The Mirror, you need to do that, because we're getting the last book. So the last book trilogy that I really, really want people to read. And I talked about this, that I reread this every year, and I do, because it's gotten to be a comfort, because I absolutely love these books. There's like almost no spice in them whatsoever. And they're about 3 sisters. First one in the series is Shadows. Brielle is our heroine. She sees ghosts, but she sees them as shadows until they start to really, they become more, she starts seeing them on how they died. And they did die. They were murdered very brutally. And she does a ghost tour in New Orleans. And on one of her tours, she meets Cash, who is an FBI profiler and it is their romance, but they're hunting down a serial killer. And Jason Clarke narrates that serial killer, and my gosh, he's spine tingling. Like he gave me the chills because he's so freaking creepy in this book, in this audiobook. So Brielle, this is Brielle and Cash's book. And now the second book is Spells, and it's about Millie and Lucien, and they had their past lives, okay? They've been married several times. Lucien remembers it. Millie doesn't. Millie's a witch. She's a kitchen witch. And she brews potions for people and puts them in their coffee and stuff. And it's super cute. But she knows that they're supposed to be together. He knows, and it's their romance. And they have to come to terms with what happened in the past. Again, we still have our serial killer. But there's stuff that's happening with our serial killer. And honestly, I'll show you. She she quotes serial killers in this. This one is chapter 12. It says, "The dead won't bother you. It's the living you have to worry about." John Wayne Gacy. So she did some research on this. I'm just like, shoo. The audiobook is just equally as good as the first one. So, and then the last book in the series is Serendipity. This is a second chance romance between Daphne and Jackson. They part because of something stupid, and he goes into the military. Now he's back, and again, they're fated mates. So this is a fated mate thing, series or trilogy, because they have to defeat the big bad, and the big bad is the serial killer. She does touch, so she's not a medium. I want to say clairvoyant, where she can touch objects and see what happens. Like, she touched the roses in her mom's backyard and saw how her father died. So there is that. These sisters, they really did look out for each other, especially Brielle. She was the oldest, and it's because their mother was just crazy and their father was horrible. And so they grew up very poorly. But I would recommend, if you ever want to try a Kristen Proby trilogy, this is the one to start with. This one is just so good, and I recommend the audiobooks. And I believe the audiobooks are on Hoopla. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to check right now. Okay, I just checked because I wanted to make sure it is. All three audiobooks are there, but she also has a bind up, and it's called The Bayou Magic. I'm going to put the image right here. So if you want to check it out, it's on Hoopla. So it would be a great series it's just a trilogy. So and they're fairly short. I mean, they're like 300 pages. So they're short, they're sweet, but I wouldn't call them sweet, but they're very interesting, and I would recommend them. And I would absolutely say, go for the audiobook. Again, it's on Hoopla. This is what it looks like. You should absolutely check that out. Anyway, let's leave it here. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but let me know if there's any books that have fall vibes that I should be reading. And yes, I have read the Jennifer Chipman ones, and I would recommend those too. For time's sake, I can't talk about every fall book that I read that I've loved. So anyway, let me know if there's any that you would recommend to me. Let me know all the things down below. And if you made this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here, leave me the purple crystal ball, the crystal ball. Until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.